Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here with 60andMe. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope that you're doing okay. If there's one thing that we have all gone through the last few months, it is a sense of reprioritizing what's important in our lives. And a lot of people have taken this time to downsize. And we've written about downsizing, we've talked about it quite a bit, but I don't think it's ever had the intensity and the meaning that it does now. I know that I have gone through some major changes in the last few months in terms of my possessions. I've moved from a fairly big place where I was staying to a small one room, and it really forced me, just because of space, but also in my mind, it made me realize that I do not need 5 black tops. I don't need 12 berets. I could go through my list. I mean, that's just clothing. But in terms of paper, I could automate and scan things. I didn't have to keep the paperwork. And I just went through boxes and boxes, and I'm sure a lot of you did too. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you today. But have you been through a downsizing exercise? And what was the motivating word for one of our bloggers, Sarah Hart? She talks about this whole thing of being enough. At what point in your life do you say enough? That's enough. And it can be enough stuff, it can be enough people, it can be enough work, it can be enough, just when do you get to that point of like enough? And replace all the abundance that you have gathered up with the things that are really, really important to you. And so I want to talk to you today about just, how to downsize your life in a way that is truly transformational and helpful. I just got back from a trip to the UK. I went to England to visit my son, and so in England they have this great phenomenon of charity shops, and they're shops that are on the high street, and they're owned by, or they're leased to or given to charities who collect clothes and household goods, and then they sell them, and that benefits their charity. I've always loved charity shops. I've gone there a lot because, well, number one, it's a good thing, it's a good idea, but also you get some nice little treasures as well. What's one person's treasure is another person's, garbage. But I never buy too much, but a scarf or a necklace. I bought lots of necklaces, actually. I bought this little necklace, for example, at a charity shop. And I've got many others. In fact, I just bought another one. I just looked at my desk. I was just checking out some jewels. I think it was $2. Really pretty. I should have worn that today. But anyway, so I think it's a thing about, going to the charity. Anyway, when I got there, there were just like boxes and boxes on the doorstep. Like people just had taken like the last 3 months and their whole lives and put them into boxes that they wanted to recycle and they wanted to redo. In fact, some of the shops were asking for extra help because they just didn't have anyone to sort them out. And of course, they all had to be washed and no one could try them on. And there's all the rules around giving these days. But, the point is that, it's not just clothes. It can be money, it can be sex, it can be relationships. When do you get to the point where it is enough? Now, you may have experienced this yourself. And Sarah does a really good job of talking about this. Maybe for you, it's when you open that box of 12 berets and you think, I wore like 3 of those all the time last year. Why am I keeping 12? It could be when you zip up that pair of trousers and it doesn't quite get to the top. They never fit you. You had them for 4 years and you didn't lose that 20 pounds that you said you would. It maybe when someone asked you to do something for the 10th time and you said, you just have said yes because you felt obliged, and then you just said, enough. I don't want to do that. Or someone's asked you for help. They've asked you to volunteer or asked you to give something of yourself. And you just say, I just can't do that anymore. It's just not a priority for me. It's not pleasing me. It's not enriching me. And so that's, I think, the point where the conversation about downsizing and just sorting out your clothes and doing the Marie Kondo fold and all the rest of it becomes kind of important. It's a way to get to this point. But the real point is what it does to you inside. When you realize that you don't want to do that anymore. You can't accept that invitation or, do something that's not making you feel good. You know what those signs of enough are. The secret is to then do something about it. So downsizing really does have an upside. At least it helps you to get to that point, and it also makes you space. It gives you spaces for things that you really, really want. I know for me for sure that, as I've cleaned out my clothing for one thing, I just realized that there are certain colors that I love. There's certain things that It doesn't matter if I wear them over and over again. I love them. There's things that I don't wear anymore, and why should I be keeping them? Someone else can wear them. Someone else can enjoy them. And it's also, with situations, for example, I get a lot of email from people who are asking for something from 60andMe or from me, and I just know that it's just not either appropriate for our business, or it's not appropriate for me to even take the time to respond. I've always felt this need to kind of respond to everything, but it's enough. It's enough for me to spend my time doing the things that I think are useful. These videos, for example, I think can be very useful. They can be a way of me saying to you, hey, I'm on this journey too. We're doing this together. It's like if you're downsizing and cleaning out, I've just done that. I've just gone through like 3 boxes of postcards, which, I've been saving from all my trips for the last, 30 years. And I just decided, how many pictures of San Francisco do I need? How many pictures of the Acropolis or Rome do I really need? It's enough. I've got enough. So I went through these boxes and I just literally picked out 1 postcard from every place I've been. Took a long time because I just had to stay with the memories. I had to stay with the memory of that trip, that person, that whatever it was. But yeah, that's part of the process, isn't it? It's like letting things go with a full heart, like not trying to hold back and remember them forever, but just find yourself in that moment that happened, where you were, what it meant to you, who was with you perhaps. Maybe it was a marriage or some other, your children were young and everything was different. You had money, you didn't have money, whatever. It's gone, it's finished. So Sarah gives you 4 things here that you can think about, think of ways to sort of do this yourself. One is to write down, basically, what you've got to get rid of. Go through the categories and don't try to do it all at once. I mean, we've talked about this before. Open that drawer, the one the one that's got everything in it, from scissors to, magnifying glasses to whatever, nails, hair clips, that drawer. I actually went out and bought some little containers, and I found that was helpful. But write it down if you can, like what, the areas. Like for me, it was, berets and accessories, necklaces. I've got a lot of, I'm just looking at my necklace, it's crooked. Necklaces that are, I've worn them a few times for sure, but someone else could enjoy them more. So I think that's really important. Write down, get a short list. Second thing is to choose the most important one on the list at this moment. It may be clothes. I find clothes are really liberating to let go, because it's like enough of the body shaming for me, enough of saying, you bought that dress when you were 3 sizes, but when you thought you might be 3 sizes smaller in the future, because I wanted to be thin. I didn't want to have this little fat belly and all the things that you get when you're older, right? And I just, it's like enough of the body shaming, enough of the worrying about myself. I'm just going to let those clothes go, because they just sit in my closet and remind me that I'm a failure, that I can't stick to a diet, whatever is associated with that. So letting those clothes go is super important. So maybe that's your number 1 thing. Is it clothes? Well, maybe it's books. Books are really hard though. I actually, over time, got rid, quotes, of all my books, put them on my phone. I chose maybe 10 or 20 that are really precious to me. I was just reading this one today, my T.S. Eliot 4 Quartets. That's one that I will keep forever because it's so tiny and I can take it with me everywhere. But maybe that's time to let your books go. Pictures, that's another one, super hard, but you have to digitize, in my opinion, this is my way, digitize, maybe put together 1 album. I did that. By the way, all this information, I have another website called Learn to Simplify, learntosimplify.com, which is where I talk about downsizing and my own journey. I think you'll find some of my personal stories interesting. They're yours, they're the same as you. And ask yourself that question. When do I have enough? When is it enough? When is enough enough? Enough clothes, enough toxic people, enough people asking for my time, enough people, asking me to do things that I just don't want to do anymore. When is it enough to say, I'm going to move to a smaller place? I don't need this big space. Is your garage maybe your place, your secret places? I think that if you make that list, prioritize the one thing, work on that with all your heart, and then just slowly take 5 bags to Goodwill or Salvation Army or to your local consignment store, whatever you want to do, or sell them on Poshmark, is it Poshmark? But there's places to sell your clothes online, eBay. But make sure that you just take your books, like donate them to the library, your art, donate that to a gallery, something charitable that you can do good. It's just a way that I've dealt with downsizing, but I thought it'd be useful to talk about it bigger than just stuff. It's about downsizing your life to the point of, I've got enough. Have you got enough? I'd like to know what's cluttering your life right now. What is cluttering your life, and how are you dealing with it? How are you having trouble letting it go? Let's have a conversation. Leave your comments in the section below. What's cluttering your life at the moment? And let's all hold hands and give each other support. And we'll look forward to chatting with you all again really, really soon. Take good care, everybody. Bye-bye for now.